Hey everybody, this is Knives Monroe, and thank you for listening. This is an episode that I recorded with my partner, my spouse, my wife, my girlfriend, Claire Monroe, who's officially been on the show more than anybody, and that's awesome. So we had a lot to say, and I definitely had a lot to say, and I'd like to think that we made some progress here. And by that I mean, she's been there with me through thick and thin, through all my bullshit, and she's tolerated me when I'm in the thick of it, and she's always helped me and pushed me and taken me where we both know we need to go. We talk about a variety of topics, of which I will say, if you make it towards the end of this, if you finish this, let me know, because I think that means that we're doing something right. And gosh, maybe maybe we don't make podcasts that go on for 2.5 hours, but let's be honest. I fucking love them. I love them. I love those long ass podcasts. When I saw that PTA and Mark Maron went on for 2 hours, I was like, I am in. When I see that Joe Rogan's got a 3.5 hour podcast with Ari Shafir, I'm like, I am in. I'm not saying I can lace any one of those guys' boots, but this deserved the time that we gave it, and it was incredible. Claire is one of the few people where I can be truly exposed with, and the person that you're going to hear uh, is someone that I think you can tell is still transitioning and in some pain, but I think they're growth pains. And so, trigger warning to people who are on the fence, to people who are on the spectrum, people who are neurodiverse, people who are struggling with mental health issues. This is a trigger warning. This may not be a fun listen, but we also talk about some fun things. We talk about movies for a chunk of it. So this was a great one. I want to take this opportunity to say, subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already on YouTube. We got a playlist. It's Knives Monroe on all the things, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. It's Knives Monroe versus the podcast. Give me a 5-star rating. I don't want anything else. I'm just kidding. But your thoughts are greatly appreciated. Leave me a comment. A one-word comment goes a long way for me. I just want to know that y'all are there. And I'm going all the fuck in on this podcast, on this show in 2020. I'm going all in. I have crazy, insane goals to do this daily, or at least Monday through Friday. And I cannot wait. I'm going to record an episode later today talking about the mission statement and the new structure of the show and what we're going to do. And I'm very much looking forward to it. I love you guys so much. Support the podcast, support the show. If you're interested on being on the podcast, DM me, tweet me, text me, email me, Knives Monroe on all the things. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the show. There's something that is going on with me where I don't know what it is, and I don't know when it happened. I don't know what's going on. Where I feel like shit all the time. And with enough caffeine in my system, I'm like, you're not a piece of shit. It's okay. With enough caffeine to be like, let's go for a walk. Like, I feel good about myself. And then somebody or something will say something, and then I'm like, you see, Knives, you are a piece of shit. You see, Knives, you are a bad dad, promise breaker, because you went out and you filmed something and you got out of the house for the first time in a month and a half. You piece of shit. On the day you're supposed to watch a movie with your family, you filth, you pig. Well, obviously, it's an internal thing. I don't know what reality is, because like my reality is there's
There's fires going on all around me.
I think when you feel that way or you have those thoughts, I think you should catch yourself. Do you catch yourself? Like when I said
I
that,
never even like these thoughts. I used to. They were like and it's funny because I tell you some of my bad dreams sometimes, and I'm like, I have bad dreams that like I'm drowning somebody in a very shallow, like at a beach, like on the shore, and so I'm drowning somebody, but then the waves kind of subside, but then another waves comes in and I can really drown somebody, but the person I'm trying to kill never dies, and that's like my depression, for a lack of a better word, where I have killed it or thought I killed it and it comes back. And so it's never really gone. It's never, I can never, I'm just getting anxiety just talking about this. Like, I can never, it's never, I can't catch it and trap it and kill it and say, okay, so stay there in this little cage. Like, instead, it like wraps me up like a spider in a cocoon and feasts off of me.
I think like spiraling.
Spiraling, but then and then it just paralyzes me and consumes me,
Do you catch
drinks my blood.
those people that you're hurting in your dreams? Are they not you?
I mean, that's another thing. Like, I can't psychoanalyze my dreams and tell you what they are, like literalize them. I don't know. I don't know if they are me. I can say that I'm me in the dreams trying to fucking kill these things. I want these things to die.
I've read that when you hurt other people, like say you hurt someone like a family member, right, in your dream, it's because you want a trait that they have. You want to take that from them. And so I'm wondering, like, and then you wake up and you're like, well, I would never do that, right? But it's something that you want from them. So I'm wondering if there's something that you just want to, like, kill off from yourself, which sounds like you're trying to do. Maybe, I mean, obviously, like, you don't know what it is. So your brain makes up a scenario where you're hurting somebody and you're trying to get, obviously, you're trying to get rid of somebody, you're trying to shoot somebody because you don't want them there anymore.
It's hard to separate why I make a decision when I'm in a bad place versus I'm a bad person. And I think like the real answer is I'm a bad person. That's just so much simpler. That's so much simpler for me to reckon with. I'll give you an example. Um, I'll just paint a picture. Say I'm going out with a girl, and we've been talking and we met and we've gone out before, and and now it's time to meet up again. And I'm like, cool. Where do you want to meet up? I want to meet up at Starbucks. Great. What time? 6 o'clock on Saturday. Splendid. She follows up, hey, are we still good for Saturday at 6 p.m.? I'm like, 100 P? Of course. Let's do it. Great. It's 5 o'clock. Hey, I'm just freshening up. I'm on my way. Awesome. Me too. It's 6:15. She's like, hey, where are you? And I never talked to her again. And I had no intention in going, and I'm like a shitty person. I'm just shitty, and like I don't love that, and I don't like revel in that and go shitty feelings. I totally you know hurt her and I feel good about myself. It's not that. It's just like knives. It's like I can, when you say catch yourself, I'm watching me and saying, Knives, why are you doing this? Stop. Can you stop this? Why are you doing this? Stop this. Turn this off. I don't like this I don't like you. But that person is helpless, that voice. And then me, before I know, I've done that 100 times. And it's like that you carry with you subconsciously, and that fucks up your dreams. And so that part that you want to kill off is that part. Why am I that way? I don't want to be that way.
And I think for all, I mean, I've done it. I've forgiven myself for everything. Like, other than from this one, everything in the past, I've forgiven myself. I think you should do the same.
If I had to,
Everybody
if
should forgive themselves for
if
something.
if I had that conversation once, I've had it 10,000 times.
Maybe not.
Sure. I mean, I've had those conversations since I was 10 years old. 10 years old. telling myself and God, like, I'm sorry, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be this way. Isn't that like irresponsible in some way? That's like a Nazi being like, I forgive myself. Let myself off the hook. I don't deserve like to forgive myself.
Obviously you're not like purposely hurting people. It's just an action that you're doing caused by probably anxiety or something.
But then those behaviors cause anxiety.
Yes, it's never ending circle, right? But I think you need to backtrack a little bit, catch yourself, and unlearn all the things that you've learned, all the things that you've done. I mean, isn't that what adulthood is? Like unlearning things and then relearning in a better, healthy way.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard because the most, like, I'm probably a narcissist. You're looking at me like, probably, but I'm probably, but like, in all the bad ways, not in the cool, fun, tortured, artistic way, like in all the bad ways. I think I'm a narcissist. Are you comfortable?
Are we doing a sound check? You said it was a sound check.
Go ahead and go to the bathroom. I'll just be here. I'm going to leave this in the video.
No, do not.
Everybody can stay with me here.
No. What if I take forever?
Everybody stay with me.
Stop.
Real quick, number 1 or number 2?
Stop. I'm not.
That's a number 2.
Stop.
All right, guys. So Claire needs to go to the bathroom, and I respect that. And we've all seen in podcasts where somebody takes a bathroom break. And I'm going to continue piloting this ship. And I doubt Claire's going to go back and she's going to listen to this. And for all the people that are out there in relationships, I know that if you're hearing this, like, Knives is insufferable. I know that you're hearing this and you're probably frustrated with just how tedious and neurotic Knives is and Knives can be, and I am. And it doesn't matter how self-aware you are about it. It doesn't matter if you know it to be true. And I think I'd argue it doesn't matter if you're working on it. I think all that really matters is how you behave in public and in private, but probably more specifically in private. If you behave like an asshole to yourself when no one's watching, I think you're an asshole. If you behave like an asshole when the world is watching, you're definitely an asshole, and you've proven it. It's credible at this point. And it's certainly not something I'm proud of, and it's something that I'm willing to change. And I love Claire for being somebody that can listen to me and hear me and let me unravel and let me just pull a thread and watch me all just unwind. I'm happy that I have a partner that I can do that with. I think it's important for people to have that, whether if it's your mother, your brother, your psychologist, your best friend, your counselor, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your spouse, whoever. If it's your audience on the internet, if it's your next door neighbor, if it's the barista at the coffee shop, if you have a human being that you can say, help me, I'm here, I'm alive, I don't know what to do all the time, I don't have all the answers, I want to be better. If you have that human, consider yourself lucky. I have that human, thank God, and it's Claire. And if I didn't have that person, I would be in real trouble. I hope you're thinking parenthetically, like, wow, Knives is really good at buying time. How long can he keep this train of thought for? Can he maintain this stream of consciousness for a long enough time while Claire goes to the bathroom? Also, did he just put himself in a trap here where now he caused awareness on it? He was doing fine. He had me there for a second, and now he's causing me to actually pay attention to that. This was Claire's idea to do this podcast, and we're doing it pretty late at night because with a 5-year-old and a 14-year-old and a dog on a Saturday night, nobody wants to go to sleep. Nobody wants to pay attention and be quiet and let us do this. So it's very difficult to do anything. Also, if I had said, oh, she's back. I had to keep going. That's just what I do. Going back to talking about me, I think I'm a narcissist. Is that comfortable for you, the microphone?
Yes.
You can move it.
No.
You're good? I want you to be comfy.
Yeah.
It's I how do I just go back into talking about narcissism? The reason why I bring it up is because, you know, there are some people that can turn off the switch and just think about others. And I wish I could take that pill, you know. A part of me, man, if you just like could see the transcript of the conversation that I have with myself on a regular basis, it would exhaust you. And I'm certainly sick of it. And I was just saying off, you know, when you were off mic, indisposed, I was just saying it doesn't matter, you know, how self-aware you are or that you want to be better. All that matters is how you behave privately and in public, you know. Privately, I'm an asshole to myself.
I know you are.
Yeah. Not on purpose.
No.
I just wake up and I'm like, why? I wake up and I say, fuck. This again? Me?
I feel like we all kind of feel like that on some small level, you know, which should feel like wanting to be better, better yourself and being a better person.
I can tap into 2011 feeling shitty like this, and I can tap into 2005 feeling shitty like this, and I can tap into 1995 feeling shitty like this.
Like I put all of that in my mind because I don't want to feel that way.
I mean,
It's very frustrating. You know, it's frustrating for you, but it's also very frustrating for me.
for you, the spouse.
Yes, I mean on this end because what can I do about it? If it's like I can't come and fix it for you.
Nobody can.
And it's frustrating, and all I can do is just vent my frustrations to you until you actually go and do something about it. And so it makes me feel useless in a way, and like I can't do anything.
Well, yeah.
So I don't know what to do.
I mean, you're not supposed to be my savior and help me and fix me, and nobody can do that.
You could want to be better.
What's strange is like I so used to be. I so used to like want to be better.
When did you stop wanting to be better? You feel a bad sign.
It's not that I stopped, but that used to be like all I focused on. Like my mania comes from, because I just have highs and lows. My mania comes from, I wake up and I start putting out the fires. I turn on the water hose, that whole, try to spend from like 5 in the morning to 9 a.m. just putting out fires like inside me. And then I can go out and be a functional human. Now I wake up and I'm just like, I'll just walk around the fire. I'll just walk around it. I am. It's a weird thing. There are moments where it's fuck, man. You know, there's this whole machismo out there that's like, you know, shut the fuck up, be a man, and just keep going. And like that just goes straight through me. I'm like, man, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Easy to say it. You know? Well, I mean, good for them that they can do that. Like that's,
I'm not saying that they're well off and that's torture. I don't think that's ever really worked.
it probably has for some people, and that's great. Like there's a whole part of the internet that appreciates stoicism. Just hard granite men chiseled from marble, and their hearts are made of stone. And they like that. And that's masculine and hot and respectable, and people put them on a pedestal, and they're idolized for that. And that's great. And maybe I've done that before, where I'm like, yeah, I want to be the giant that I am, and now I'm just like, it's really hard. I saw on Netflix Jiro Dreams of Sushi, and it inspired me. And it was just like, man, I used to feel passionate about filmmaking and art and writing and things. And in that state of just being passionate, nobody could stop me. And all I had was just this burning flame in me that kept me going. It kept me warm. It kept me alive. People found it attractive. It was like people were drawn to it like a moth to a flame. And I didn't care, which made it even more attractive. And people bought into what I said and what I believed, even if it wasn't true, because I meant it. People just appreciated that certainty, and it reinforced my certainty. And watching Jiro Dreams of Sushi and seeing this passionate, masterful 85-year-old titan just dedicate time to his craft, it made me go back to the drawing board, and I started writing and making lists, and I was like getting, stoked to make stuff again. And then I went to the valley, and I was not a human for 7 days. I just felt like I felt like the Invisible Man, like these whole holidays. I went out with this terrific photographer who I'll have on the podcast one day, Lester Platt, and there was a model that was there, and she was like, "How was your holidays?" And I was like, I never was in the Christmas spirit. I just felt like I was held under ice, and I was just waiting for the Christmas day to go by, and then I could come back up and breathe again. Sorry. And it was weird. Like I felt really, I felt like I was on it, and then I went to the valley, and then was just like a tool, and came back, and then was like a tool, and now I feel like a tool still, and it's weird to find that human that I appreciate, that's passionate, and he's just way harder to hold on to. Like I see him every now and then, like glimpses of him, and nobody can fuck with me in that state of mind. Nobody. I challenge anybody to fucking bother me, and they can't. And I felt it just, the Thursday before Christmas. And then I fucking lost it. And it never used to be so fragile. It never used to be so, it never used to, that was never a possibility. And I don't know why it is. I don't know. Right. Which, don't get me wrong, and I want everybody to know that when I am that way, Claire's like, lower it. She's like, you're a 14, put it at a 4. Or go to the other room. It's not like he's a fun guy that people love to be around. Like, I have best friends that are like, when you're that guy, I mute you, and I don't want to go near you. And I respect that. I appreciate that. Thank you for telling me. It hurts. So it's a why do you have to fucking be so miserable, or why do you have to be so like and then there's people that cruise at normal. That's cool. They're not plagued with the burden of ambition. They don't have anything to prove. They're getting by, and they're good. They have their fantasy football teams. They go to their kids' little league games. They come home and they play Xbox, and they're good. No, I don't have hobbies. This is like the closest thing that comes to a hobby. But this is the only place where like I get to play. And so it's like ironing my thoughts. It's like I get to see what I am. And as soon as this uploads, I'll probably be like, I don't feel like that, And that's just part of my process. And I die by that sword. That is the way I am, for better or worse. And it's, I can't judge the body of work. I can't judge it, but I'm not afraid to put it out there, because I know one person will be like, dude, I feel that way.
so like obsessed with what I was doing, with my art or writing at the time. And it was like I was just like invested in me, and I was just only thinking about me, which kind of eventually felt like a person. I felt like my room was my person. And I slowly got out of that, but then with that, at the same time, I slowly got into depression, and that left me with pretty much like, I don't want to say with nothing, but with like no news, like nothing to write about, because I felt better. And it goes back to like, well, I'm doing art because I felt like it, and I had all these issues to work through, and then I felt better. I wasn't like a suffering artist anymore. I wasn't suffering, I was still an artist.
Yeah.
And so then I had to move up. Then this is why like I moved on into other mediums. So why I do more digital stuff, because it's not as emotional. It's very like static as and basic things like that. So it's been years since I put like art into anything.
Right.
And it's a little sad. It makes me sad. Like,
yes.
I mean, I know we've had this conversation before, so
Yeah.
it makes me miss that person that I was. But I'm also like trying to look forward to like other things, and like I feel like at least the depression was a crutch. For a long time, I felt that way, and I would miss it.
Yeah.
But I was also like, well, I don't want to be depressed anymore to make art. I shouldn't have to be depressed to make art.
I don't do that.
And I did that, so that was like my first mistake, I feel.
Honestly.
Now it's like tougher to. I can find the inspiration, but I also like kind of avoid certain documentaries or artists or people that are super, super passionate, because I get jealous and I get like, I want to be on that level, but I just cannot. Like I cannot allow myself to feel that intensely, and I get that obsessive about myself.
Why?
It doesn't lead in the right direction. It doesn't make me feel good.
There are different sorts of mindsets, like uniforms that you can adapt to that put you in a certain mode to be creative. One is like you said, and how you use depression as a crutch, and it fuels really melancholic art and romantic art and painful art and all that. I've never utilized my sadness. It's a creativity drain. Like it bleeds my creativity dry. I'm paralyzed. So I can't do that. But then there's also modes, like you said, that are on the complete other side of the extreme, which is, oh, I'm so pumped up and blah, blah, go, 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 go. And I've been there, and I've totally reveled in that pocket, but it's not sustainable. You can't casually be completely maniacal and still a fun person to be around, and still, because also like I don't know what's going on because like and then there's a medium, right, which are people that look at it like working out, and they're very kind of they don't have feelings about, they don't look at creating as a emotional thing, they just do it. And well, I put 500 words out on Medium, or I made 3 podcasts, or I took these photos and here they are. And those people, I envy the people in the Medium the most, because I'm like, I can be so passionate about something, and you can like loosen that right there. There you go. Yeah. And then push it in this way. Push the thick rod in, pick it up, you know what I mean? Oh Lord. Like that, but push it in a little bit more, because you want the weight to be in the butt. Yeah, that's good. I'm still figuring out this new setup, everybody, so leave me alone. The people that are in the Medium that can kind of go through it like athletes, and they just wake up and they have the discipline, and they have a good structure. I feel like that's the pocket to win, and that's sustainable. And I think that prevents That's like a prevention from burnout. And I appreciate that the people that are, and here's the thing, they're not creative in the romantic sense, right? You find these people, and they're usually the ones that are like, yeah, I went to Harvard Business Law, and then someone was like, why don't you give stand-up comedy a shot? And I did it, and now here I am, right? Or, I originally went to college for math, but then someone said, can you take my pictures for my wedding? And then I did it before I knew it. I'm a millionaire taking wedding photos. And it's like the people that kind of fall into it are the ones that are more normal and treat everything just like watering your plants. And that, I'm envious of that. Like, I guess because I never became a functioning member of society first. I never, ever. Maybe. They figured out how to be a normal human first. And then they gave art a shot, and then they got good at it. I'm not going to say that you were like a broken person, but here I was, a completely broken person that found something that healed him and then did it and was like, okay. Like, I could never say, like, I'm the shit. I'm great at what I do. I don't feel that ego about it. Narcissism notwithstanding, like I don't feel that way. But it doesn't stop me from making stuff. People confuse that optically from an objective standpoint as confidence. I've always looked at it as ignorance. I've always looked at it like, well, I don't know any better or any other way. When I see normal humans that got their Dodge truck and they're just normal denim wearing normal people, often Canadians, I found that fell into a creative medium. They're just so well put together. Like, and I'm like, how do you get to do that and have art? I don't know. And nobody taught me this. I didn't hang out with the wrong crowd. Like, this, unfortunately, is me, but there's all this other creative people that happen to be that way too. And I don't want to be resentful about other people's success or people that have made it or have done it in a way that is fashionable or cool, or they've done it in a way where they're not hurting themselves. I'm not I want to fetishize my sadness person. I don't. Like, I wish I don't know. Like, I wish I felt good first. And then I believe like maybe good art would come out of that. I happen to believe it could. Of course.
And then it's like from 12 to 3, I answer emails and do this, and so they're on a schedule and they have family time, and then they go back to their work. And it's like, well, that must be nice. Like, I can't do that. I'm too all over the place and too romantic about it that I can't be like, okay, from 8 to 12, I'm going to do this. It's like, it takes me a while to actually get like the engine started. A lot of coffee to be like, okay, like I'm ready to actually sit down and draw now, and then I can draw for like 4 hours. But I need to be like uninterrupted for like a good 8 hours to actually get something out. And I have to be like strictly focused on that one thing, or else I'm just gonna lose it. And so I'm so precious about it. I hate that, but at the same time, like, it's all or nothing.
Yeah. On that note, when you were coming back from your sabbatical, number 2, right? When you came back from pooping, taking a shit, which, I mean, it's, everybody does it. Britney Spears does it. I had to tell myself that in 7th grade. I was like, Britney Spears has to take a shit. She has to. She has to. That's what I do for feminism. Anyways, when you were gone, I was saying, what I wanted to get to was, there are people who are like asexual or have you heard of the term incels? Involuntarily celibate? Yeah. There are people, men and women, involuntarily celibate. You know, virgins, for lack of a better term. There are people that probably have a harder time having empathy for people in relationships and relationship problems. And I was saying how I'm lucky that I have a spouse and a partner that listens to my bullshit, even though people hearing this might be like, how the fuck does she do this? I don't know, but she does, and I'm grateful. And a single person who is either looking for a partner or has no interest is kind of like relationship agnostic, might just be like, I don't care. Don't need it. Don't care. I respect that. What I was going to get to before you came in was, and then there's a whole group of people who have no empathy for parents because they don't have parents. I mean, they don't have kids. They do not have kids, and they don't have empathy for parents. And so being a creative person that's also a parent is a whole other difficulty. We're playing the game at the hardest difficulty. And there are motherfuckers that are playing this on easy with no kids that have the audacity to bitch about a lack of time or resources. Because what you're saying about, I need to have this 5-hour allotted time that could be from 12 to 5 or 5 to 2 a.m. or midnight to 5 a.m. But I don't have that time because I'm an adult and I'm also a provider and I have kids and, you know, I don't want to scare them or whatever. And that's a very difficult thing for people who don't have kids. They don't even know. And they should be alarmed. And if you don't want to have kids, that's cool. Totally cool. And I just had Fiona on the podcast, so I'm not, I mean, I love it. I love being a dad. It's the best job. No smoke. It's the best job. But it's hard to fill my own cup as well as a creative person. Did you do that in one go? Mm.
During that time, Aiden would go with his dad on the weekends. So I had a whole weekend to myself. Just fuck around and any like responsibility.
During that time when he's with his.
Yeah, during that weekend, that Saturday and Sunday. So I would just stay up from like, I don't know, like start putting on music and getting in the mood at like 5, and then I would start drawing like, you know, after that until like the middle of the night. And so that's why I was able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, normally, like, some parents do stuff with their children.
Can I ask you a question? Because you're on a podcast. Could you do that now? Would that be preferable now? Could you be a week on parent, single parent, and a week off parent, single parent? Or, and I don't want to make up your mind because this is an interesting question, or are you the type of person that likes sharing a bed, that likes living with another human, that likes to share their responsibility with their kids? Do you like the married life? Or do you like or which one's better? Like the married life with I wake up with this guy. He's on my couch, watching BoJack all day. We go to the gym together. Or are you like, yeah, you take these fucking guys for a week. I'll do me. Are you just saying that? Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a better person. I'm a better person, like, in a married life.
Do I, as a partner, hold you accountable in some way to be better? Or why are you a better person, do you think? In the marriage paradigm.
I feel like I'm part of the team. I feel like we're a big pressure and it felt like burden, like there were certain burdens on me that I couldn't like hand off to somebody else.
Like, for example.
Like financially, or like I couldn't, like if I had an issue, or even like an emotional issue, at least I had you, or any little thing, if I wanted to do something, if I had a thought, I couldn't, like there was no one to relate it to, but also like doing and having a family does, I think it's made me better in that I want to do better, I want to be better, and I want to be a better person, because then my kids are going to look at me and I want to be a good person. Like, I want to set a good example for them, as cheesy as that sounds.
Can I say something just as corny? I like the idea of being the type of man who wakes up and goes for a 7-mile run and comes back home and makes the family breakfast and takes the kids to school and kisses his spouse goodbye and then works diligently, studiously, for 8 to 10 hours, greets the family when they come home, plays with the dog, all that stuff. Like, I like that idea. I wish I could just take the pill that makes you feel that good. I want to be that person. I think that would make me a better asset in this partnership, a better asset in terms of like this American dad who gets after it and makes money and eats what he hunts and blah, blah, blah. My creativity, like I have to think that it would be better. And it's just an 8-mile run. Like I feel like that, when you burn 500 calories in a workout, say for example, like don't you feel like I can fucking do anything?
Right.
Nobody can touch me. Don't you feel that way?
Yeah.
I love that feeling. Like I love that, and it's hard.
I mean, also, I guess.
I feel guilty if I do that and I fail at it and I suck at it and I feel shitty and I'm like, Knives, you're not this guy. Your body's just so terrible and you did this to yourself. And then it's hard to break through that. And then so I'm like, okay, Knives, don't do it. Chill. Go make yourself a good breakfast. And then I feel guilty because I didn't do it.
It's like saying, you should forgive yourself, but at the same time, you should also do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
Like, I have to forgive myself, I have to kind of see myself as two people. Like, that person that I need to stop being and the person that I want to be. Like, I can just, like, divide myself into two to help myself. Is that weird? Like, it sounds weird saying.
No, I think it's a very practical, therapeutic, helpful.
Like, as if you're looking in the mirror type of thing, I'm looking in the mirror. But I just see myself. I just step back and, like, see myself and be like,
Not to sound.
I'm sorry for you. The turning point for me is, I don't know where I heard it, but someone had said, would you date me? And I asked myself that question, and my answer was no.
Was this a Sex in the City thing? Sounds like it could have been.
I don't know, maybe. I don't think so. But it was like, kind of like, would you date you? And like, I asked myself,
Whoa.
and I was like, no. And I was like, I don't like that. I was like, I don't like that I would date me. And I was like, and I was honest with myself.
You don't like that you would not date you?
At the time, I was like, I wouldn't date me. And I was like, well, I need to be the person I would date.
Yes.
And so from then on, it was like,
That's really good. That's a good frame to look at things through. I would date me just to adopt my kids. I like that guy with his kids. You take them out of the equation? No. I don't think I would. It's just so much work. That's a lot of work. I know. I know. The good news is for you, at least it's not you. I'm not like, I'm in a shitty fucking relationship. I got to get out of this. Like, how do I break it to Claire? I don't want to be with her anymore. Divorce is on the table. Like, no, it's not you. Like, it's so not you. like the best thing in my life, you know? Seriously, like, I love you. You're my best friend. I can talk to you about anything. It's rare that we have the time to super get into it like this right now, which is why I'm being very frank with you, which I don't think is new. I was telling Aiden, we saw a PT Cruiser, and he was like, look, it looks like our old PT Cruiser. And I got so nostalgic, and I was like, man, I'd give anything for that PT Cruiser. He's like, why? Didn't it like die? And I was like, no, it never died. And I was like, dude, the first time I hung out with your mom, it was her 10-year high school anniversary. And she was, yeah, I said that too. And I said, I mean, reunion. And she was supposed to go, and Pete came and was like, let's go. And you're like, nah, I'm going to talk to this guy. And we just talked for like, what, 5 hours in that PT Cruiser? Yeah. But we had a lot of long conversations in that PT Cruiser. And so that's important. And I love you. Like, you're one of the few people that some days I like the me that I see through you. And there are some days where I don't like that guy that you're with. And I'm like, ew, like, he needs to be better. You know, so, but either way, like, I like you are like the true judge, jury, and executioner of like of how I filter through things, you know. And it's rare when I make something, it's happened to maybe twice, or I make something and I'm like, what do you think, Claire? And you like it, but when you do, I know it's good. It was probably in 2018, Pipe Dream. The last thing where you're like, yeah, you did something good. I like that. I like the way you did that. No, the first one. Yeah, the first one that I did. I will probably always, and any artist that says they don't have this, I think you're a liar. I have like a very big, when Fiona shows me something, a painting or something that she made, I'm never like, this, unicorns again? You call this a triangle? This has 4 sides, Fiona. What the fuck is this? Go back, do another one. I could never do that. Every time she shows me something, and she presents us with 5 pieces of art a day, I'm just like, oh my, like I fucking fall back, and I'm like, I oversell it. And anytime I make something, a part of me is like, please like me. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. How could it not be? And when I show somebody something, I'm like, can you give me a hug and say you're proud of me? There's like a big neediness there. That has to be a driving factor for actors, musicians, stand-up comedians. Filmmakers are not, excluded from that. It's weird. I like being able to be very frank with you, but I also want to be the best me. Like, I was on another podcast with Brian Kern, who avoided being on this show for a whole year, but I'm going to try to put him on maybe January or February, but I was just on his show. And he was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I'm like, I don't care about the money in the bank, the house I have. I don't care, in terms of like wants. I just want to like myself. That would be sick if I could like myself and enjoy being alive. That would be cool. It's got to be realistic. People got to wake up and be like, this life stuff is pretty cool. There got to be, not just in the movies, IRL. Who? Oh, let me guess, they don't got kids. I'm just kidding. No, No, of course not. And little do they know how much greater their life would be if they had kids. But
But I mean, there are people like that, and I've seen people. It's like, but then it's like, how did they get there? Obviously, there's things that they worked on.
it's sad to say, I've never done it. I've never done it where I worked on myself, and I've never done it. And that's like, if I had one thing that, do you ever think like the world would be better if we just walked around naked? Like everybody would, like it would all just be out there. I think that way sometimes. Like, because when you read the Bible, it's like Adam and Eve fucked up and now we all have to wear clothes. That's like the abridged version. You might want to fact check that. But, and so like, I was thinking about this. Like, I changed in front of Frankie the other day, our dog. And she was looking at me and I was looking at her, and I was putting my underwear on, my pants, my shirts, because she'll follow me when I go take a shower, and I come back, she's there. And the bedroom. And I was like, putting myself in her shoes. Here she is. She walks around with this fur coat. That's all she needs. She's naked. And I was wondering, like, what if she had, as I'm putting on these clothes, is she thinking, like, is he just a super cocky monkey that, like, puts all these things on, like, these affectations? Like, why is he putting on all these things? What's he going for? Is he, like, some sort of royalty monkey? Like, I had this thought. I don't smoke weed. And I felt really like putting on my jacket, and I was just like, who the fuck do I think I am? Putting on clothes, socks and shoes. I was just like, she doesn't need anything. And if men just walked around with all of our dicks out, and it was all just out, like everybody would have to work on themselves. And you would be able to really notice everybody, like men and women, everybody would have to work on themselves, and really you would know who's putting in the work and who's not. But there's so many people, myself included, who put in the work in other ways and totally disregard themselves in their like appearance, their biology. Like, if you just judge me on my naked body alone, I'm a fucking wreck, and I am a wreck. But I have successes in other ways that, like, you can't really measure.
But that's also a distraction. It could also be seen as an excuse for not working on yourself.
Of course, and it goes both ways though. On the same token, like, someone can work on their biology, but then also never worked on their education or something, right?
I think there are always areas of improvement.
Of course, and some are more visually apparent than others. I bring this up, this whole tangent with the dog and everything. If there's something that, like, I try to hide, as if it was like, don't see me naked. If there's something that I try to hide, it's this, and now I lost it. All that, just, I had a feeling that was going to happen, but I don't want people to know how, this is it, how super unhappy I am with myself. And that's why I've been talking about it the most, like, lately, is, and here's the thing, and whew, I want to be very careful here. I love Dakota Meyer. And as someone who studied every word that he said, and, like, took every podcast he ever made and every speech, during the times that we were working together, he's a superhuman. How can you not fall in love with this guy? That's just the truth. Like, he could kick your ass, but he also, like, he would never be malicious towards you. He doesn't have it in him to be a bad, evil person. He could fucking whoop your ass, right? But he uses his superpowers for good. Like, and I've seen it. And there's people that watch, like, Teen Mom or Instagram and think that they got an idea of him. You don't. Like, as a guy who has been there, I love this guy. But I will say that working with this guy, he was very vulnerable about PTSD, very vulnerable about anxieties, and, gosh, like I was with him when, I mean, he's tried everything to help his PTSD. And I was thinking about this on my drive today. I was like, he doesn't have melancholy. He's not like sad. It was rainy today and it was scattered showers. And I was thinking melancholy and sadness, which I have often, is like scattered showers. It's inconvenient. You need an umbrella to go out. PTSD from war is like earthquake, tsunami, wildfire level natural disaster. You wouldn't say that scattered showers is a natural disaster. That's melancholy. You shouldn't compare suffering. I'm just saying scattered showers. I was like, that's me. Dakota and what he's gone through is wildfire, earthquake, volcanic eruptions. And during the time when I was working with him, like anytime I felt sad, I was like, you don't get to feel sad. Because you haven't gone through shit, Knives, compared to my buddy Dakota. So shut the fuck up, Knives. You don't get to feel sad. You don't get to feel it. And I would bury a lot of things unconsciously. And this isn't his fault. There's so many service members that saw combat who it's difficult for them to talk about these things. And I admire their will to get back on the horse and like try to have a meaningful life. And they deserve it the most. But Dakota would never be melancholy. It's just, you know, he has nightmares for what he's gone through. And I have so much empathy for him for that. But I could not be sad about it. And so the kick that I've been on, you know, about like transparency and talking openly about these insecurities that I have is really like this bucket that just got so full over the past couple of years. And finally, I'm just letting it out. Right. And I feel like it's part of my healing process of holding things in. I'm not really good at that. And you need to go to the bathroom.
Sorry. Also, it's a little bit uncomfortable this way.
Oh, cool.
Sorry. It's not. It's just, I'm learning that as we're sitting here.
Knives, either you upload this whole thing or you edit the fuck out of it. Pick one. I guess I'll just finish that bit. How long have we been going here? Oh, cool. No human should ever compare themselves and say, well, you don't get to feel this way because other people feel terrible about it. It's like saying, well, there's starving people in Africa. So, yeah, I know, but also there's you're hungry when you're hungry as well, right? So, it's a cold, confusing way to, when you put all the cards on the table and you've had a lot of time on your hands to sort through that, you can lose yourself along the way. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like I am inspired by Dakota, but I also have to say my truth and I have to feel the way that I feel and get it out. And you know, it's hard being an artist who's behind the camera and in front of the camera. It's a whole different thing when you're in front of the camera. And I fancy myself as not an entertainer, but someone who's out in the public and who puts his life out there. I just posted a podcast with my daughter. You know, I wouldn't even post her pictures on social media for a while because I didn't want people, I wanted to protect my privacy, and I did. And so I've done both things, and I wouldn't call myself a public figure by any means, but I am exposed on social media and on YouTube, and that's because I like being an artist in front of the camera and being a personality in front of the camera because I like connecting with other like-minded geniuses. And part of my process right now is like coming out of this cocoon and hopefully emerging as a beautiful butterfly. And right now I'm in the cocoon and I'm purging all these negative voices. Like, people don't even want to say that, people don't even want to own their negativity and their self-negativity and say, I hate feeling this way. I hate myself right now. People don't want to own that. It's like fat shaming. No, you can't fat shame. And for me right now, I am fat shaming myself. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying I don't like this anymore. I don't like feeling this way. I don't like waking up and having to drink, 5 energy drinks to get through the day and wondering why come 8 p.m. I feel like baked shit. No, I want to take a more holistic approach and sweat out all these toxins and purge out all these, you have to kind of fast in a way and get rid of all this pain. And I'm tired of being a pain body. And working with Dakota was great because I was able to lose myself in the work, but then I abandoned myself. And it was great for that because I could get out of my head, and now I'm back in my head. And it's like, Knives, you never worked on being a functioning member of society. You never worked on it. You never did it. From 16, 18, 20, 25. Yeah, I pay my bills. I pay my rent. Like I'm an independent human. I pay my taxes, sure, but that doesn't mean that like I'm healthy. And we need to talk about that. We need to talk about our physical health and our mental health. And the brain is part of the body after all. Like, we need to talk about that, and I'm doing that, and I'm sorting through all this. I'd like to think 365 days from now, I can look back and see and chart my progress and say, wow, at the tail end of the decade, you were feeling yourself, you were figuring yourself out. And now here you are, before and after. And I'm still itching and crawling for that before and after. Oh, there she is. You good? Just so you know that if this was Oprah, she wouldn't be able to pause the show.
It's recorded. What are you talking about?
You would have to hold it in if you were on Larry King Live. So, you good time-wise? Okay, because we've been going for about an hour. All that just to wrap up saying, like, we moved here to Austin in 2016, and it was really hard work to get here. And then, we became self-sufficient, self-reliant, independent creatives that pay their taxes and their bills with art money. And that's cool. Like, that was a pipe dream at one point. And it was 2019, and I looked up and I'm like, cool, I got here, but I never worked on myself. What? And that's what I was saying off mic was when I was working with Dakota, it was great because I was invisible and I could get out of my head, but I was carving up to just get through the day, and yeah, and they're trying to get through. And I fucked with that life. It's not sustainable. And so I want this to be not a I'm doomed. I want this to be a before and after. Here's Knives before 2019. He ended the decade, blah, blah, blah. And and hopefully in, sometime in the not too distant future, it's like, whoa, he's come a long way. Like I'm not, nor have I ever said I'm a role model. Follow my virtues and my values. I will show you the way. I've never spouted that shit. Like, all I've ever said is, here I am. I'm dying. Look at my art. That's all I've ever been about, So I don't want people to get it twisted, What's very thank God is this is on brand to this conversation. Like it may hurt and someone may weaponize it and use it against me in the future and say, look at you. You said you parent shamed people, whatever the fuck, that this may not be politically correct in the future, but I don't care. Like this is like measuring my growth and putting my height on the wall and saying, here I was emotionally in 2019. And hopefully in the future I can say, oh, I got my shit together. I started running and now, dude, it would be dope. I'd want to be that guy that ran a marathon. I would very much like that. And there's people that are hearing this that are like, well, then do it, fatso. Thanks. No shit. Obviously, I'm working on it, man. Like, I'm working on it. This is a work in progress. You really wanted to do this podcast. Do you regret it? It probably didn't go the way you thought. Yeah. Right. You didn't like A Marriage Story as much as I did. But I felt like you went into it. You went into it with expectations. Yeah. Well, the climax of the movie was ruined for you. Which has now been memeified. That's not fair. Noah Baumbach, Mock My Words, is going to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay for that. I'm a sucker for great acting and good writing and letting the actors do their thing. I'm a sucker for that. I think if you were to swap Scarlett Johansson with, I don't know who would be a good fit for Adam Driver. No, I mean like in a marriage that you believe in or something, because you. But that's what I'm saying. So maybe if you swap Scarlett Johansson out, I think you like the movie more. Same script. I mean, come on. You don't need a villain. The movie, it's weird. Like, expectations are really everything. Like, Dave was with us for Christmas, and I was like, how was Uncut Gems? And he's like, everybody said it was going to be like an anxiety attack every minute. And he's like, I expected it to be crazier, and it wasn't. And I was like, so your expectations ruined the movie is what I heard. And then we brought up another movie, and he was like, yeah, I thought it was going to be like this, but it was really more like that. And it was like, don't go into things with expectations then. Like, don't read all the blogs, hear all the podcasts, read all the reviews before you go into something. Just go into it. Separation. We just watched The Separation. And I didn't know it was going to be about that. Like, I didn't know anything other than an Iranian filmmaker made it. I knew it was going to have subtitles, right? But that's all I knew. It was a foreign film. I didn't know it was going to be what it was about. And so as it was what it was about, I'm really good at just like I'm just vibing with the thing. I don't want it to be what I want it to be. And I'll give you another example. I remember we went on a date a couple years ago to watch Personal Shopper, and that was not what you expected. But it ruined the entire film watching experience for you. You thought it was going to be like a rom-com.
I had no idea. And then, like, maybe, like, 30 minutes into it, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to, like, I started to get it, and then I enjoyed it.
Yeah. But I never set an expectation for you. You know,
No idea.
I kind of feel like somebody had this joke of like, I think it was Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Shea. He, I guess I saw he does stand up and he did this clip and he was like, you know how people say like don't judge a book by its cover? He's like, that's literally what the cover's for.
Okay.
He's like, you're supposed to judge the book by the cover.
What does it mean?
That's how you know you like it
Yeah.
or that you're gonna like it.
It means for designers, don't judge a book by its cover and it's a designer crime.
That's funny. And so it's the same thing with movies. Like, just take the cover and go with that, but not more, not less. Like, you know, another thing I see is Star Wars came out and they're like, oh, I thought it was going to be really bad because everybody hated it. I liked it. And it's just like, maybe that's why you liked it, you know? Or there's people that walk into it thinking this is going to be the biggest thing ever. And then they're like, meh. And it's like, don't contrast. Just surf with the wave that you're on, man. Like, just watch the thing. Watch the thing. I remember it was the last movie we saw in FAR at what we called the Ghetto Mall. That's just like was the informal name. Well, the last movie we saw was Pacific Rim. Dude, I saw the trailers. All I knew was it's Guillermo. That's all I need to know. It's gonna be good. He's competent. He's not. You're not gonna say I don't know if I agree with that camera choice. No, you're in the best of hands. Just go with it. But I had no idea I was gonna love it as much as I did. I was like a kid playing with toys in the bathtub for the first time. And if I had like been, you know, it's like imagine like like watching a taped Super Bowl and knowing who's gonna win. You're gonna hate every play. You're gonna hate every cut to commercial. You're gonna hate the entire game. It's like, no, I like being surprised and I like being like, I don't know if I like this as I'm watching it because I'm vibing with it. You know, same here. You know, I knew the cast. I knew Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. Chris Evans. But like when I saw Don Johnson, I was like, ooh. When I knew Toni Collette was in it. When I saw Michael Shannon, I was like, ooh, right? Like that was cool. And that was just like, I was just vibing with that movie the whole way through. Like that was fun. When we saw Hereditary, I didn't know what it was about. We saw the trailer after we saw the movie. I just want to. Yeah, we saw the we went home, we saw the trailer, and then we were like, "What? This thing was totally marketed completely differently." And there were some scenes that were in the trailer that were not in the movie. People are letting hype and word of mouth get the best of them. Stop it. This is me being an old man. Like growing up, like me and my mom, it was like, "Let's go to the movies. What's starting? We're watching that." A lot of them were. Yeah, or you'd call and they'd be like 7:15 and you'd go, you know. People are complicating this shit. Just go and watch it and enjoy it. Fuck. But I liked Marriage Story because you just put it on and I was like, Adam Driver's in it. How bad could it be?
I also felt very disconnected to the characters, to the story itself. I didn't feel anything for the story. But maybe because I've seen other divorce movies and my parents get divorced, I have, like, I relate to other movies more so than I relate to this one. And that kind of was like, no, like,
Well, what's a divorce movie that you relate to? Ooh, I got one. Blue Valentine. I mean, no, not for my parents, but like that's a painful breakup, divorce movie. That's an all-timer right there. You almost can't even enjoy how nice their relationship was in the beginning because they show both things at the same time. You know, they're contrasting like the end of the relationship with the beginning when you're watching it, the structure, and that's a great one. Oh, that's a great breakup movie. Eternal Sunshine, I love. I know you don't like it. That's a great breakup movie. Not a divorce movie, but it's a great breakup movie. What's another one? That movie was that's one of the best scripts I've ever seen in a movie. I couldn't pull it off. And also the kids, like the acting was just so. The older daughter? Oh my gosh. She was really good. And I don't want to give anything away. You should watch it. It's on Netflix. It's an Iranian film called A Separation. But I love movies that end with the action. It doesn't fade to black and the titles just go over the image. I love that. When that happens, it punches me in the heart every time. It's like, what? No. That you never want a good movie to end. For sure. Another like breakup. Dude, going back to Marriage Story really fast. I just love good acting, man. I didn't like seeing Adam Driver in pain. I didn't like seeing Scarlett Johansson cry. Saying, I can't believe I have to fucking know you forever. It's like, have you never felt that way? I mean, dude, I've had some dramatic breakups. No, of course, but in the moment, it's your life. Haven't you ever like took the argument to its zenith and say things that you regret, and you're like, I can't take that back. I don't like using this word often, but it's ugly. And those actors went there. That's fun to watch, and it pulls at my strings. It hurts. It's effective. Also, let me ask you as a woman, why is Adam Driver hot? He is hot. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but why is he hot? He's not your average movie star. He has an unorthodox, almost like asymmetrical look. Mm-hmm. Is there a female equivalent of like the weird hotness that Adam Driver is? Of women? What's my taste of women? Phoebe Cates, Drop Dead Fred. Poof. Rooney Mara. You think she's weird looking? No, but I'm saying what's like. Okay, I don't think.
She's not like, Jennifer Aniston body type, right? She's not like,
Uh-huh. But like, what's okay? Well, I'm saying what's like how Adam Driver's like a weird looking. I don't want to say weird looking. That sounds mean, offensive. But he's not. Okay, so like here's a great example. You have like your George Clooney, your Brad Pitts, your Matt Damons, your Leonardo DiCaprios. Basic cookie cutter bitches. Right? Basic, like, yeah, our moms think they're hot. But they all look the same. I saw an interview where they were asking Brad Pitt, like, oh, do you ever get recognized, whatever? And they're just like, yeah, do you ever get mistaken for somebody else? He's like, yeah, people have confused me with Matt Damon. And that he just signs like the autograph as Matt Damon. But they asked DiCaprio on the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood tour the same question. And he's just like, I've been confused for Brad Pitt. Right? And I could see that. I could see how people are like, oh, they're just starstruck. They're like, they all think they're one thing. But like Adam Driver, you ain't going to confuse Adam Driver for George Clooney, okay? Okay. And I think Adam Driver's an A-list, like, actor, movie star, especially with like, off the cusp of Star Wars. He's a household name. Good for him. He was an indie darling when he got signed for that movie. Now he's a household name. That's dope. He's hot. But he's hot in a different way than, say, Jason Momoa. Okay. Stay with me here. Is there a female equivalent that's like hot, but not hot in the whatever cookie cutter Margot Robbie hot? Typical Barbie shit, right? Who? You think Rooney Mara? She's not cookie cutter. Okay. I guess that's your answer. It's almost hard. It's harder, right, for a woman to be super weird looking and be hot. I'm trying to think of one. It's weird. Oh, here's one. Back in the day, Meryl Streep. Like, Meryl Streep was hot when she was younger. She was hot, but not in like the typical A-list. Like, she wouldn't even get all the jobs. Maybe that's why she's so good. You know, is she was hot, but not like in a typical Julia Roberts basic bitch way. Just saying, we need more like interesting faces. Don't you think? Like, just a diversity in faces is all. Nah, I don't know if we have. What do you want to talk about? Mental health or this? I'm just kidding. Yeah, and also, like, you were telling me as we were watching Marriage Story, like, I'm so invested in this movie, and you're like, Scarlett Johansson's hair, I just can't. And I'm like, Claire, just go with it. They had to nerf her hotness. They had to, like, put these things on her to be like, she's a regular person.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't know. I mean, obviously, their choices, right? The hair, the clothes, you know, these little things. I guess you didn't like the character. For another reason, you really didn't like her.
I see.
Yeah, she's nice or whatever, and you know, she's like looking out. But then, I don't know.
You had to like her. You had to root for one of them, apparently.
I did. I guess so.
Hmm.
I mean, it was like, she said one thing, and then she did another, and that was frustrating for me. Because I picked one. And then that whole thing happened. It's like, it was so unnecessary.
Hmm.
If you were just going to stay this other person you want.
Yeah, at the end, it was like all that for nothing. Yeah, it's not like supposed to be pleasurable or fun. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Movies aren't 100% supposed to mirror real life. They're supposed to be like these heightened versions.
Yeah. So even then, it was like, okay, well, I'm in a, you know, our relationship, mine and his, is not even bad.
It's.
You think I can't relate to the movie?
I know what this is. I know what this is. This is like how I feel about Aaron Sorkin movies. Aaron Sorkin wrote like, did you ever see Newsroom or Social Network? Like, characters in real life don't talk like this. They don't talk like that. Real quippy, real like just like perfect. You know, and I feel like maybe Noah Baumbach's script was just so righty, so literary. Yeah. Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm. It was a good opener with like how they wrote each other that letter and stuff. And you're seeing the montage of this is why I love her. This is why I love him. He makes really good omelets or whatever the bullshit is, you know. Like I thought that was a good introduction to why they were married to begin with. And then you get to watch the pain. In the first 2 minutes, you're already suspicious about what they're saying.
Yes, I was already, when they were, I mean, knowing that they're getting a divorce and they were talking about this, and I'm like, are they being sarcastic? I was already suspicious. Like, why are they saying really, really nice things to each other? Or about each other?
Yeah. At the end, I don't want to give it away, but at the end of the movie, Adam Driver reads a letter that his kid found. That's such a good acting. And that's like that beat that they get to that really ties the whole story together as a story, as a circle. To me is like, yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's good acting. It hurt. You know, I also like, and you know this better than anybody, like I'm very sensitive. I put on a random BoJack episode today and I was crying like Kim Kardashian tears. Mouth open, like crying. It just hurt so bad. It hurt so fucking bad. I'm very sensitive, but to me, I look at these things and I'm like, how are you not in pain? I don't think you deal with something and then you're numb to it, or it doesn't evoke an emotional response. How do you develop would you say healthy emotional coping skills? How do you do that? Oh yeah, you keep bringing that up. I had a counselor for a couple of weeks and she was just like, yeah. Yeah, I was like, just give me the cheat sheet. And she gave it to me and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll work on this. And I came back and I was like, I feel better now. And she was like, and now I look back and I'm like, she was right. She was like, no, you don't just get better. And I was like, what are you talking about? I feel great. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't need to come back to these anymore. And she was like, no, you don't just get better, is what she said. But she was right in that it's not, it's another BoJack thing. It gets easier. You just have to work on it every day. That's the hard part. Which I don't even remember. I don't remember my last breakup. Get over it. You do not have healthy emotional coping skills or what? Get out of the past, man. We've been together for almost 7 years. How do you feel about that? That's a long time. Top that. Oh yeah, by like double. Yeah. Yeah. Dumb shit? What's like, I might regret asking this, but remember, we can always cut this out. What's like the last dumb thing I said that surprised you? Yeah. You were like, no shit, dumbass. And I was just like, the Pikachu face. Like, how? Why would somebody fuck with me at the movies? I've lived in Austin for a few years. Like, I got used to. Yeah. I mean, people. Yeah, we're safe. We'll just say we're safe. We're pretty safe. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
I'm a little bit surprised because, you know how strong I can be.
Usually I'm pretty
You're more paranoid than I am.
right because I've been fucked with a lot.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you go on, and I'm like, really? Like, you didn't think that one out?
I didn't think someone would want to move a 1,500-pound trailer and steal it from me.
The fact that I was surprised that somebody would actually try to do that.
I was surprised as well. Donna hasn't changed. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Same shit, different day, for sure. Yeah, I still surprised you, but you said it in a way of like you just out dumbass yourself. Still, Knives. You don't say it in a you surprise me every now and then. You're just so elegant, and you surprise me with just how cool you can still be.
Like, so there's what I just mentioned, but also the fact that you discover things about yourself and that you're talking about. Because I don't know, certain things that you talked about, like that video you played.
Which video? Uh-huh.
That surprised me.
Okay.
It wasn't in like a dumbass way. It was like, oh, like he's, like, I didn't know this stuff. And I didn't know this stuff about you. And so that surprised me.
Did I ever tell you that in 2008 I was going to hang myself in my attic, but I told Juno, so why would you be surprised? I've told you.
Because I call that one because your girlfriend broke up with you.
I was so sad.
And after a part of it,
It had a lot to do with it, but it was also like I can admit like that was like an impulse.
right, and so it's like,
But I've also had those like I was also bullied a lot as a kid, and so I remember seeing on MTV Pearl Jam had a music video for the song Jeremy. And I think like the chorus, I don't even remember it, but because I can't even hear that song because it's triggering. Jeremy's like the lyric is like the whole idea of the song is like this kid kills himself in a classroom, and the music video is like the whole video is like Jeremy spoke in class today and like whatever. And when I heard that as a very young kid, I was like, that's a great idea. I was like, I can kill myself. Like, I'm not saying that gave me the idea, but I was like, I can kill myself. Kind of that it's okay that I'm being bullied. This is terrible. But I was being bullied, and I was like, I can end this. I was like, I'm not saying that gave me the idea, but like, that was like this inception moment of like, now that was a possibility, believe it or not, And I've always told you that if I went to AP, Solis, the ghetto middle school that you went to, that I would have done it because, dude, I got picked on so bad, like, and I felt so like it crushed me, man. Like it fucking crushed me. Like I couldn't even do my schoolwork, Like you get diarrhea, like thinking I don't want to walk down that hallway, and like I didn't feel safe, and these adults don't care, and I would start thinking very terrible thoughts, like at such a young age, and I always related to like sad, dark music and sad, dark art. And I was just like, yeah, it's okay to feel this way. I can tap into this feeling, and I don't have to feel like a faggot about it, right? Air quotes. Going back to like being a very sensitive person. So like I've always been transparent about that side to you.
yes. But like you said, you try really hard not to show people that.
Right. But that's like part of toxic masculinity is this mask that we wear of like, I can't talk about that.
And so when you do that, like, what am I supposed to? I don't automatically think you're thinking that,
Of course.
And so when I ask you, like, are you good? And you're like, yeah. And so I feel like for the most part, you're good. Maybe just coasting. But you never really, it's hard to really get into it because we're busy and lives and things happen. And so it's not always like there in front of you.
Of course. And I think that's what they call, or what I would call, like the law of familiarity. Like, oftentimes somebody will be like, dude, your little girl has gotten so big, or what? Aiden is 14. And I'm like, yeah. But I don't even see it because I see them every day, right? And so I think if you see me just being alive, you're like, he's fine. But like things, I've just been so, I felt so fragile lately.
What happened or what brought all that up? Like, did it start to come to light?
A lot of things, man. Like, and this always sound, I always feel so bad even mentioning Dakota in a way that's like any other way other than not being super friendly. It's just like being, man, I don't want to fixate on this. It's what it is. But when he was my employer, I was like all about him. Like the way Princess Carolyn is as an agent. It's like, girl, treat yourself. Go on vacation. She doesn't even go on vacation. And then she goes on vacation and she gets the idea like, I should be a manager. It's like, dude, stay on vacation, right? Like I mean, to an unhealthy degree, because I'd work with him, I'd come home and then I'd work. And that whole thing was a grind, man. And I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying that, like, I was there while he was going through his divorce in public. And I mean, you just told me a couple of days ago you got some troll that hit you up on social media bugging you, and it's like you don't even have anything to do with this, neither do I, but like about him. And it's like, and there's an argument to be said in that, like, that's the way it is, that's part of the game. And there's another that's like, man, fuck all this, I didn't sign up for this, right? Except I actually signed up for it, literally signed up for it. But, and so like getting through that, and the way I, we went on our own, the way I went on my own way and he went on his own way is like, was also like weird. And all the travel going from like that, like I told my mom, working with Dakota was like a grind, and I was so like pot committed. Even in the, like, sometimes he'd travel and I wouldn't see him for like a couple of weeks, but I was still like, if I wasn't thinking about him, I was feeling guilty that I wasn't thinking about him. And that was it. And also being very unhealthy is one thing. I was drinking like 3 bangs a day and keeping up with him. And then so I get signed on with HOH, and now I'm traveling. And so the first 10 days of November, I'm on the road, and I like being on the road. Like you develop like a road callus eventually. Like the first time I was on an airplane, I was like, woo! And now I'm that guy, I get the neck pillow and I'm like, see you. I wake up and I'm in a new time zone. And, but that whole thing, that was like my time off is how it felt. Like I went away from the grind and I went to this, which was I sidestepped into another grind. And then, so there's like this weird feeling where you're on the road, the adrenaline, you're going through the motions, you come home, you decompress. And like my highs are high and my lows are really low. And so it's like this big yo-yo thing, and it's hard to be healthy with that. And then I met my sister, not met, but like, well, yeah, I met her, as an adult. Like I got to see her and her family, which was awesome. But it also brought up, like, it was also like this looking in the mirror reflection of like, this is who she saw me. I don't even want to get emotional right now, but this is hard. But she saw me for who I really am. And, And KNIVES Monroe was a pseudonym, was an alias, was a backyard wrestling name. And my first film was a Knives Monroe film, and then my baby was a Knives Monroe baby, you know, and my grandma was like, change your name to Knives Monroe, and I was like, yes, ma'am. And it's like, you know, Clark Kent is not Clark Kent. Clark Kent is the alias. Clark Kent is a fucking alien from outer space. And when I saw my sister, I was like, oh yeah, I'm an alien. I'm not Clark Kent. I'm not Knives Monroe. I'm this guy. And I saw her coping, and I was like, I be coping too. And it was like a safe space to be like, I can talk about these things. BoJack Horseman season 6 is coming out. Cool, I got to catch up with BoJack. Watching it with this whole new perspective of kind of like, I've grown since that show came out. I mean, I've matured in a lot of ways, like my career. And I don't really talk about my career in public. Like, I don't. Like, I protect the Muppet. Like, all you see is the Muppet. You don't see the motherfucker. You don't see this talk. You don't see that. I don't show that to you because I want you to think that wrestling is real. I want you to believe in this. And I don't talk about my career, you know? I've never given like a State of the Union on my career. And so when I watch BoJack, I'm like, dude, like the character I relate to the most is Diane, because she's an artist, she's a writer, but she's also so fucked up. And it's like it's really easy for you to criticize other people, but you can't put that on yourself. I relate to that. You know, I don't relate to BoJack as much. I empathize with him, but I relate to Diane a lot. And seeing all that was like, oh, I can talk about these things. It's okay. Like, I can talk about these things. And so, like, it was a lot of stuff. And also, like, I'm on my own again for the first time in a long time, if not ever. I'm on my own where, in terms of my career again, like with Dakota, it's like, I'd call him every day. What are we doing today? Text him every day. Like, I never had a plan that was more than a week out. And that's being generous. I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying that, but it's true. And now with my new job, like, I got a schedule and it's cool. And, you know, man, I love HOH. Like, I ain't just saying that, just drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, I love it. Like, I love the structure. I love the humans that I work with. I love the mission. And that's cool. And I love look, I got on the dash right here. Like, I love the mission. I have flip side. Look, I ate, slept, and breathed the mission as well. But, you know, but now there's like this autonomy where it's like, I ain't being micromanaged. Like, they're like, you know, bring your ideas to the table, Knives, and it's cool. And it's a different kind of freedom. And when I first got the Dakota gig, that was a different kind of freedom. And I acclimated to that. And it was like this big, like, in the beginning, like, validation. And that was great. And that buzz wore off because then it became about the work, you know, as it always does. And so, all this just to say, like, when you really lay it all out there, it's a lot. And most people are in a routine. They got the 8 to 5. They come home, they change into pajamas, and that's their life, and that's cool. Like, I'm on a scaffolding, man. Like, it's hard to go all in on my health and go all in on my sanity and my mental health and go all in my relationships. And my brother's having a baby, and that, you know, I lose sleep over that sometimes. And I do, just because it's like, I'm a very sensitive person. If you don't believe that, look at my daughter, look at my sister. Like, we are sensitive people, man. You know, I think it's in our DNA. And so, like, it's a bunch of newness, man. It's like, do you remember, like, say the first day of high school, like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, whenever, the night before the first day of school, and you can't sleep, and you wake up at 6 a.m. and you're like, I didn't even sleep. Do you remember those days? Dude, I have those days all the fucking time. all the time. I'm just like everything's so new and so like in an exciting way, but also in a super stressful way. And I'm in my fucking feelings, man. And you know this, like I took a lot of coping mechanisms away. I haven't bit my nails in 2 months. And if you know me, I mean, shit, like I took away a lot of my coping mechanisms. And yeah. Yeah, but then I had fucking a whole box of pizza on Christmas, so, you know. Yes. Of course, of course. Sure. Also, and I don't want to go into it, but like travel between you and me, Hawaii, but like travel be stressful sometimes, man. And so, and here's the thing, like I have empathy for you because you ain't there for a lot of that. You got your own shit going on. You're trying to build your own dreams, and I respect that. And on my podcast, I can be a little egocentric. Okay, it's okay. So bear with me here, but I'm also like a servant for my kids, for you, for my mother-in-law, and for my family, and for my job. And I take those things so seriously, and I'm not reluctant to lose myself in those things. But then there is myself. And when you're stuck in a hotel room, there's only yourself. And I don't drink really. Like I don't really like casually drink. Maybe on a special occasion, I'll have a glass of something. But like I don't. People look forward to that, and they have like a drink with their dinner. And like I don't smoke weed, and like I don't. So I you know like unwinding's hard, and I've been meditating a lot. I could meditate more, and I could meditate a lot more, right? For sure. But, and so all that's just like, you know, you're like, what one thing? And like, there isn't one thing. There's just been so many. I remember going to, what was it called? Super Splash in the Valley. And there was this great attraction. Yeah. Or it was like in Edinburgh. There's this great attraction where there was a big prop bucket that looked like it could fit 400 gallons of water, and it would fill up, and every 20 minutes or so it would fall, and so all the kids would wait for it to all fall on us, right? And that's anxiety to me. Like before you know it, if you're not addressing your shit on the regular, like it builds up and it falls. I got to switch the battery, so now I'm gonna get up. We're approaching the longest podcast that I've done. If you want to go for another hour, I can, but that's up to you. I mean, okay, I will, like the good host I am. But you worked on yourself for about 3 years, you said. Yeah. Yeah. Right. All those things sound like a lot of self-care. Yeah. Let me say something. Not to start shit, but I'm in the kitchen making an omelet, and you're putting on makeup for the podcast, and all I say is, Claire, it's a wide angle, and you're like, you got confrontational about it, and I was like, look, I wouldn't have said anything if I thought this was gonna start shit, but you like basically passive aggressively accused me for being like controlling or something. Whoa, is how I interpreted it. And so for me, I was like, Claire, if I was literally critiquing you, or if I had a problem, or if I was saying anything in a negative, I would have said something like, wait, that's what you're going to wear on the podcast? Put something. That's not going to work. But I'm not that person. Instead, I was like, just so you know, we're chill on this. Like we're just chilling. I think this is a boy-girl thing.
It is. It ties into you not understanding the point of it, or why it's done, how long it obviously takes. If you just came back from a photo shoot and you could
Of course.
take up to 2 hours
Yeah.
to do like, it's like, you don't understand, it's fine,
I respect it,
but like, but then you
but I wasn't like being a control freak about it. And I didn't want you to flip out and be, I'm not like telling you not to wear makeup.
I didn't think you were, but it wasn't also the first time you brought it up. But it also ties into like you not caring about these things.
But I also wasn't like,
You don't want to care.
but it wasn't that either. So Bill Burr has this whole bit on how like if you say one thing to piss off a woman, the female has 19 things already locked and loaded that she's had in reserves, ready to just be like boom, 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 and you like dropped 8 grenades on me, and I was like, man, this was not worth what I said. I was just saying like it's a wide angle in case you're curious. If I'm gonna cut to a close up on you, it's just a wide angle.
Well, to me, that doesn't matter.
And I'm bringing this up just in because we were talking about being in a relationship with somebody that's controlling. Like and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've never been a controlling force in any relationship I've been in.
You're the complete opposite in that you don't care. You don't care about certain things.
I don't,
Why do you care about this one thing?
but I didn't even say it in a way that was like smudging you in any sense. It was just a way of like to relieve any sort of pressure that you felt. Because here's the thing, in a conversation, which I happen to think we're having a good conversation, but and trust me, I've done a lot of these. Like the more pressure there is on something, it's going to be a friction on a conversation. And so I want to remove all any sort of tensions or frictions or pressures and like any sort of things that are getting in the way of a good conversation. And at the end of the day, a podcast is a sonic medium. So I was just like, just friendly reminder, you're in good hands here. Like it was more like that sentiment. But girl, you flipped out.
I did because it's not the first time we brought it up. Like when the last time we did the video,
Mm-hmm.
and you said something about me doing makeup, and you were like, well, and that also at that time you were like, no, we're this and we're that. I'm trying to check out your video, right? And so
Oh, okay, yeah.
and so it was like, no, I want to.
I had to age you down. I had to Irishman you.
Right. And so
Yeah, that's why I was like, you should wear this.
there's been other times where you were like, why do makeup? Like that's what you just like didn't understand. And you're kind of
Course.
like, don't care. You care.
Also, not to be corny, but like I'm like, girl, you look great.
Yes, but it's not. The thing is, like, you don't understand that it's not for you.
Exactly.
It's for me.
Exactly.
When I'm doing it for me,
And what a douchebag I would really be if I made it about me though. If I was like, no, I think like this calls for some eyeshadow. Where's that lip? Like, but I'm so not that. I'm not trying to dress you up like a doll here for my show. Like, this is not like that. That's all. If you wanted to be in pajamas, I wouldn't have called attention to that.
I'm not even wearing a bra right now.
Hell yeah.
Like, so,
I'm just going to replay that clip over and over again.
I just don't even know what you're talking about.
Right now?
No.
Oh, of course. I have like usually my thoughts when you're married, right? Like your thoughts go through this like gatekeeper, and they're just like, nope, knives, don't even, just put that in the recycle bin. This one went through my gatekeeper, and I just overrode it, and was like, just put it out, and I regretted it. So I learned something today. But you were talking about self-care. Yes. And I haven't developed those tools, to be honest. Like, I'm still young relatively. I have time, but it sounds like you made sure to make time. And I think it's because you matured way earlier than me and faster because you had a kid at a very young age. So you're forced to kind of be like, get your shit together. And so when I met you, I hadn't had my shit together though. And I got my shit together a bit. And I am, and I don't know how to. I gotta tell you, I had this thought at the movies. I'm gonna get shit for this. Out of everything I've said, this is the thing that I have this coming. I had the thought at the movies. So like you can pick this up like that if you need to. Okay. I had this thought, and I forgot what Trigger did. Yeah, I forgot. I had it in the bathroom. I was taking a piss, and I had the thought like, I don't, like I'm gonna order whatever I want. Like I'm fucking rich. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care what it costs. I'll order. Yeah. I'm gonna get whatever I want. Like because, right, of course. And hey, that shit adds up. But here's the thing. Like I've been so broke and so poor where I'm like I can't go on a date. I can't afford to take this girl out on a date. And like, toxic masculinity, there's this pressure where, I mean, you're paying, a man is paying. It's implied in this country. You don't take a girl out unless the guy's got enough money to cover it. And if she wants to pay half, that's nice, but she's got to push real hard. If she's actually going to pay half, the guy's going to pay. Let's be real. And so I've had that anxiety of like, I don't have money. Dude, I don't even look at the prices at the draft house. I'm like, I want that and I want that and I want that. Now I don't. Not because I'm filthy rich and don't shame me. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know about that. But let's just say when we moved to Austin, we definitely couldn't. No. And let's just leave it at that. And I say that just because like that's cool. And so like, but I also had, me super self-aware, hyper self-aware. I also was just like, Knives, you douchebag, shut the fuck up. Like, but also like, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. I'll still pick up a quarter if I see it on the street. All right. I'm still going to pick up a quarter. But I had that thought of like, dude, you're doing okay. I get by. I'm making a living. That's what you're supposed to say. And I grew up with a single mom. And so our kids are spoiled as shit. There's brats. They're not shitty about it. They're a little entitled, and that's my fault. I can't leave and come back without Fiona being like, what do you got for me? That's my fault. 100%. And Aiden too. And that's cool. And so I look at that as like a success. I look at that as like, my kids are good. They're good. They had the dopest Christmas where literally everybody was like, these kids got too much shit. I know. And so like, that's cool. That makes me feel like, I'm doing something right. And that's good. At the same time, like I also want to like myself and feel good about myself. And I deserve to. And I want to, because like you said, would I date me? I think there's potential, but I also don't believe in potential. Like, I think you are or you aren't. And I like me. Like I like the idea of me, but I really actually want to like me. Like I want to wake up and be stoked. Wouldn't that be nice? You figured it out, though.
justifying why I look this way and trying to get over, like, those bad feelings, and then kind of convince myself that it's all good, it's fine. There's a lot of convincing that I had to do when I wake up in the morning, and I don't have to look at my face like that anymore. It's one, like, it's a really big, the people with rosacea, I think it's hard. It's super hard to look in the mirror and to not think about it. Like, I would always think about it when I would step outside in the heat, in the cold, no matter where I went, I was thinking about my face. Like, what are they thinking? It really brings down your self-esteem. So, I had to develop that. And also, like, I developed self-esteem before it went away, which is, like, difficult to do. So then once it started clearing up, it's just way easier to wake up. Like, I can wake up and not, like, think, oh my God, my face. And if you've seen me, in the past, you've seen how bad it is. And so, it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy that I don't have to do that anymore.
That is good. See, and like, not to compare and contrast, but like that, I knew what a hard time all that was for you, these years that I've known you and been with you, and it sucked, and I also felt like I can't do anything about it, and all the charm and all the admiration and how I felt about you and feel about you, like, didn't amount to a hill of beans. Like, it was like I can't do anything, except love you. And so I'm stoked for you that you feel like that you reclaimed that sense of normalcy, or like, now you can, all the stuff that we take for granted, like, I don't feel like this added weight of like pressure and anxiety. I'm sure comes from that, and of course, and so, yeah, from afar it was difficult to absolve you of that. I didn't have the jurisdiction. It's not on me. That's hard. But I have noticed that you feel better.
Yeah, and it was like, I'm actually going to do something about it. I'm getting fair enough to do something about it. And I had to, and I tried to do it like in holistic ways, and that wasn't strong enough. Because I wanted to do it my way. And I just had to be, what's another word? Not obsessed, but I had to
Determined?
be very, very determined at whatever cost. It
Yeah.
had to be like that level of whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, well, if it has this, if it's more natural.
Could I just say that
It was whatever it takes.
if your skincare routine costs upwards to like $1,000 a month, I wouldn't even know. I know, but if it did, I wouldn't even know, and I would be cool with it if it did.
If it did, I would fucking do it. Because I was just so, I got to that point where I cannot.
And I would support that.
It was like that. It was kind of being like, what? How do I value myself? How much do I value my face? And how much my appearance?
Of course.
My self-esteem, like my body in general. Like, I'm not even,
Yeah.
I just think, like, I'm not even taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like that.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of people who cannot find a solution to it because there's so many triggers. It's not the same for everybody. And, you try, like, antibiotics work for me, they don't work for other people. Topicals work for some, and not they don't work for me. And so it's different for everyone. But I was just like, whatever it took.
Yeah.
Whatever medication I had to take. And I took medication every day for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Just to get rid of it. And it was absolutely worth it.
Are you still on medication?
No. Like right now I'm okay. And then I feel like, okay, even if I had a small flare, I would be okay with it. Which I don't want to be.
Uh-huh.
I just justify it.
That's how good you feel right now.
And so I have to justify it and be like, well, it's not that bad.
Right.
But if I do even get a little bit, I do have the medication to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really had to get it. Like, I had to put some value on myself.
Yeah.
Because nobody else
I know. It always comes down to that. This isn't healthy, and I do feel this way, but I don't want to always feel this way. Like that 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 feeling of like no one else is gonna care for me. I have to care for myself. I feel like that sometimes, and when you feel that way, you're like you're looking at a crisis, and you're like, I got to do something about this, and you take action. I feel like hopefully I die and I don't have to. I know, but that's like my no matter what I flip the coin, it's gonna land on that. It always lands on that,
But I think
and
people feel that way before they realize there's another side. There's an actual other side to it.
yeah. The night is darkest before the dawn. All this fucking, all these David Goggins isms. Like there's. I know. I create the graphics for these motivational things. Like I know all the best ones. Like I've written them all down. I've read all the self-help books and all that. Like I know, and then you have to actually just do it. Like the implementation is truly the difficult part, but you also have to find the path to least resistance. Like I spent a decade studying other people's paths, but that doesn't mean that that you can do them all, you can walk them all, and they all are applicable to you. You have to walk your path. Like you said, you got to this resolve where I'm going to do whatever it takes, but you have to do it on your terms.
It took me a while to get there, like years to be like, okay, I need to do something about it.
Yeah.
And I can't even explain how I got there either. I mean, it would have been nice, but I don't know if there was something about it. But it was definitely work to feel that way, and a lot of convincing myself, oh, but you want to do it. You want to feel it.
A lot of
Constantly reminding yourself that you want to feel it.
that's what it is.
Until
Every day.
you don't have to remind yourself, and then you're doing it.
I know. That is hard. I don't have enough days to counterbalance the bad days. I don't have enough, like, I'm trying really, really hard to be better. I'm trying still and to where it gets blurred, and I've recorded over the tape so many times I forgot what the old thing was, and now this is what it is. Like, I've done that. And then I took for granted, like, I thought I did that and I didn't have to do it again. But I'm here to remind you that you can relapse and then start from scratch again. And that's really shitty. And like I'm at there where I'm like, oh, I thought I was done. I thought I did that. Nope. It has to be every day forever.
I mean, that's what you gotta do. But maybe that's what you gotta do.
Yeah. Yes, I'm saying that because can I wake up tomorrow and do it? I really want to. I really want to right now. I really want to. I'm going to try. I'm going to do it. I don't know. I'm going to try it. It's really hard.
At least try. I mean, be confident that you're gonna try.
I'll say this, and we should wrap up here because my Zoom recorder's like on one bar, and that could mean an hour. It could mean 5 minutes. And I have, damn these things. Because like usually I plug that into a computer. Anyways, on an upcoming episode of this podcast, I have this mission statement written out, and I want to talk about almost like a reprogramming of this podcast. And I'm going to respect what it's done in 2018, but I also want to take it in a new direction. And part of that is, this right here is part of my self-care. Like being able, like I did a podcast yesterday. I did a podcast today. I did one on Christmas Eve. That makes me feel better. Like it makes me feel good to do stuff, to make stuff. It's like you see knives, like you did something today. And I want to do more of that. Like we fetishize like one podcast, but the truth is like It's about consistency. Everything is about consistency. Everything. Like your diet, your fitness, your relationships. Like you can't say, I took Claire out on one date, we're good. It's 24/7, 365, always, forever. And it's the same thing with this. I want to bring that to this podcast. Like this right here makes me feel productive. Like we're doing something, and it's selfish. And so I'm scratching an itch. And so it's also visual, audio, like it's creative. And this makes me feel good. Like it does. And if in order to sustain that, my entire routine, like you have to have a discipline, has to, it all feeds off itself. Like, you have to eat well and be well and think well and all that to make great art. And I want to be better at this. And I had a conversation with my friend Luis Cantu, who's been on the Outer Heaven podcast, which I made, which is now this. And I want to have him on again, but I told him I may never be the best filmmaker of my generation or of all time, but I think I could be one of the best podcasters. I really do. And I know that's audacious, but I can say it and mean it. That's got to mean something. I can say it and feel it. That's got to mean something, because I trust this instinct. I can't look at you in the face and say, I'm the best videographer. I can't say that. No, but podcasters, I think I could be an all-timer, and I think I could be at the table. I'll say that. And I mean that, and so I want to give everybody more of that. And it's just a pocket that makes me feel good. And I haven't felt that way in so long. And when I get into this zone, I get committed, and all my resources and thoughts and feelings go into that. And I get into that pocket that you got into when it came to your rosacea, about relentlessness, and I'm going to do this by any means necessary, whatever it takes, and that's a great place to be. Like, you get shit done when you're in that zone. And I'm in that zone right now in podcasting. And so here we are going into 2020. You and I think, made 3 podcasts together on this show this year. Whether if the first one we did was in 2018, it could have been, but either way, like I averaged out at like maybe 1.5 podcasts a month. I want to do more this year. So I'll be very surprised if anybody made it this far, because this is the longest podcast I've done on this show. It's going to be about a 2.5 hour one. You'd be surprised. And so if you made it this far, text me, email me, tweet me, DM me, whatever it takes, and let me know, because that proves that I am an all-timer, because this is retention right here. I'll tell you that right now, if somebody made it this far. So if you did, Mom, whoever you are, like, let me know, and I'll tell Claire they made it this fucking far towards the end. But I don't do interviews. These are chats, conversations. But I'm going to ask you an interview type question, and we'll end it with this. 2020, what does it look like? What do you want to do? What are you looking forward to? What do you want to learn? How do you want to grow? How do you want to give back? What are some goals? All those things. I mean, we've been pretty fucking personal.
Priority the past 3 years, and I think we're doing well. I think we made smart choices there.
Yes, you have.
No, I mean it's both of us, right?
Sure.
So there's that. I also obviously want to make more money.
Yeah.
So I have my financial goals, pay off things, make more money. I want to move up at work. I think it's possible.
It is.
Somewhere in the middle of the year. There's always losing weight. That's always my thing to think of.
This isn't a proposal, but do you want to get married next year?
So I said that. I pushed her mom.
You did.
Quick to jump on
Yes.
the idea. I said I wanted to get married next year
Yeah. With who?
with you.
Oh shit.
I also said if I lose 10 pounds, then we can get married.
You did say that.
So unnecessary pressure for me to get there. So there's that. Now I'm like, why did I say that?
I have way more weight to lose.
This is hard. It's hard to lose weight. And I want to try keto again. That's another thing I want to do. I did it successfully for a month and a half. Then my birthday came, and I did like half a cake. I didn't have any bread.
And he spiraled out 9 months ago.
I just went like, I can't have it. Like, it, you know, it was like a drug. I just could not have it at all.
I get that.
And bread, yeah. And so I want to try keto again. And I don't know. I just want to like do more fun stuff at the time. Like, I don't want mom's here.
Yeah.
I feel like
We got to go out of our comfort zone and out of and out of.
I don't like that thing.
Why?
I just like to be comfortable. Like, what's wrong with being comfortable?
Well, I mean, here's an example.
I
Like,
don't like being like adventurous and
I know, hiking and
oh my god.
so like this past we went on vacation in May and we went to the South Padre Island.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not outside our comfort zone.
It's not.
So like say we go on vacation, we should go someplace dope where we both haven't been and try a new thing. And if it's not cool, at least we have a good story about it.
Yeah. Very exciting story.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll make you comfortable.
So I do want to do more things like go on vacation and just have like a different like I kind of every year I want to grow in lifestyle.
Of course you do. You're a woman.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
I want more money.
Yes.
And so all that, like, yes, I want to. I know we like
Like Pearl the landlord.
yeah,
I want my money.
all that.
Yes.
And so like I not that I mean I'm okay with what we have now. I like what we have now.
But you could have more.
But I want more. I always want more, and it's a bad thing sometimes. But that's kind of it, I guess.
Well, I think we can do it.
What do you want next year?
Well, I didn't ask you so you could ask me. I wanted to genuinely know what you want because I want to help as your partner facilitate those things, realize them genuinely because I like it when you're happy. What do I want 2020? I really want to strengthen my relationships with people. That's not something I would have said a week ago. But truly, I don't know what. Well, like I no, and like I asked you, like that was your opportunity to be selfish. Like it's totally fine. But to me, this is kind of selfish. Like I want to not so I can be Mother Teresa, but I quite frankly like we live in a world where everything's like monetize this. Brand awareness, that commercialism, capitalism, blah blah blah. Look, I've peeked behind the curtain. No one knows what the fuck they're doing. I've shook hands with billionaires. Like people matter, not in a cliche, after school special way. But the truth is, like, there, when Gary Vee says that he wants a lot of people to come to his funeral, I get that. Like there's a lot of truth to that. I fuck with that. Like, not that I want a lot of people to come to my funeral, but like people are what matter. It's people are far more potent and special and incredible than money. Like really, Louis C.K. has this bit post controversy in his leaked set about like when the news hit and he got canceled, he's like, you find out who your real friends are, and he's like, it sucks. You realize, oh, these are my real friends. That's the joke, right? And it's like, but the truth is, when shit hits the fan, like, you find out who your real friends are. And that to me is like, if you're going to prepare for the apocalypse, yeah, get a bunker and get some shotguns and invest in whatever. But like, also the people that you're going to be around that have your back during the apocalypse, people don't talk about that enough. And so I want to strengthen my relationships with people. I don't want to be that flake to call back and to go full circle about like that Knives on the date who ghosts, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't like that guy. Fuck that guy, you know? And there's a little bit of that person in all of us. But there's a lot of that person in me. And I want to be that guy that, like, this sounds so corny, but like I'm in different group texts with, you know, like I and I say that because like I put a lot on you and I put a lot on Dave. Like Dave has other friends. I don't, you know? And people will be like, Knives, I'm your friend. And it's like, okay, yeah, but like, you know, Dave and I just go way back is all I mean. And this guy, I just put a lot on him, and he knows what I'm talking about. And he doesn't listen to these, but like I put a lot on him. Like I strain our friendship, I feel. Maybe not so much anymore, but so I want to strengthen my friendships and relationships with people, with humans, because I think that's more valuable than monetizing and fuck all that, you know. If 100 dope ass people listen to this podcast and that's all it maxed out after that, I'm good. I would continue to make it. Like 100 dope people is nothing to sleep on. Like that's amazing. So there's that. And I want to feel good and be one of those runner guys. Because like you see like these 70-year-old people that are running in Austin, and they're like, there's something to that. Like that they're going to outlive us all, you know? And so for my health and for my mental health, like I do want to feel better about myself. And like the truth is, all the money and the debt consolidation and the upwards career stuff comes when you are really good with people and you're really healthy and you value health. You radiate that energy to attract those opportunities. So like all those things come from that, right? I feel like I asked you what would be like your favorite mutant power that you'd want, and you're like telekinesis, and I was like, I would want the power of all the powers. Sorry for being that douchebag, but yeah, I do feel like, you know, when they say it's not about what you know, it's who you know, that's true. But you also have to, you also have to be cool, you know, like you also have to be a good person and know these people, and they'll have your back. It doesn't matter if you know them. They have to have your back, right? And I want to be a person that's worthy of that. And in a way, a lot of it's going back to the drawing board for me. And it's funny because people are surprised that I'm such a fucking wreck. But honestly, like people just hide that on the internet. It's not a new thing. Like if you've known me and you've fucked with me, like you know that Knives is crazy. But on the internet, we're supposed to hide that. Not on this show. Not everybody does. I mean, but not everybody's Cardi B that can talk about scratching her asshole with her nails. Not everybody's that confident or that whatever. So those are my goals, and I'm gonna try my best to get there. I have to, otherwise, it's death. It's death. It's and I don't mean that I'm gonna be 32. That's right. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. You got some pressure. Mm-hmm. Well, let me put some positive pressure on you. Like, I remember when you turned 30.
Okay. When I turned 30, I had like 5 things that I wanted.
Yeah.
And was like a suit. It was like an expensive piece of furniture. I wanted
Check.
a master's degree.
Uh-huh.
So I've got like 7 pieces of furniture that I don't need.
Yeah.
I wanted a master's degree, and then I wanted like
To run a 5K.
5K. That went out the window a long time ago.
We can do that. Let's do that this year. Come on.
Like running.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
And there was one other one. I think it was like go somewhere. Maybe like probably.
Yeah.
There was only 5 things I really wanted.
Yeah.
And then you came, and that kind of like, you know,
Fuck things up.
not put things up, but, you know, I was pregnant when I was 30. Was I? I think I was.
No.
No,
We had just had Fiona. Yeah.
so, well, I was 30 and I couldn't finish, like, I was behind on my own schedule of
Right.
finishing my master's.
Yeah. Sorry.
And then I forgot.
Yeah, you hear that, Fiona? Do you hear that? Your mom's holding this against you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Now I don't even, like, give my degree, like, a second thought.
I know. I know.
Now I want different
Now you want different things and more things. But sure. But also you kind of you achieved a lot in the past 5 years. Yeah, you also make more now than what your career that you were trying to get your master's for would have afforded you. And I think if Claire, 26-year-old Claire, if you were to pitch that to her, she'd be like, all right.
I really wanted to be a professor. I really love the college, like the university life.
Yeah.
And
But now you work.
I work with universities
Yeah.
in a different way.
Yes.
And so,
Well, what I was going to say is from 30 to 35, it went by pretty fast.
yes, it is.
So best believe 35 to 40 going to come at you.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like set things up and like try to make moves and try to like make sure that I get there wherever I want to be by the time I'm 40.
Well, I hope you'll have me around, and I would love to help you. Not just moving furniture. I want to be there as your husband and lover.
You think that we'll get married next year?
I'm going to marry your ass. I'll say,
I just like that it's like at the beginning of the decade, just to not be like,
mm-hmm.
it's a good number. I mean, you know, I feel like it's a good time too, but
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Yeah, it's because like I'm a very deadline. I take deadlines seriously. I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I put a deadline on my thing. If I were to put the deadline on it right now, I would have to be committed to that for real. And so before I'm like September, it's like let me think about this off mic.
your mom was really quick to say June. I think it was like
I was like June is stacked, Mom. Like stop it.
it's Phil's birthday month.
Yeah, let's do it in November instead. Just kidding. But no, we'll find it and we'll do it. And it no matter what, I promise you this. I'll say this because you need some sort of commitment on wax, and I'll give you this. It's gonna be about. I'm gonna make it about us, but about you, but about us. Like I don't give a fuck about other people. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care about napkins and shit. Like, it's really like one day about us, man. Like, one day about our love. We deserve that. And you deserve one day about you looking hot in a white dress. Can you talk into your mic? Just kidding. I know, you're tired. I know you. What time is it? Good for you. Yeah. I love you so much, and thank you for doing this with me. Was this okay? How do you feel about this? How did I do? Okay. Sorry. I thought, like, the most poignant thing that I said that people should take away from this is Adam Driver's a weirdly hot dude, and his female weird hot energy is, but he's not like G.I. Joe, Matt Damon looking cookie cutter fucking Aryan Brotherhood. Yeah, of course. Sorry, that it's because I was thinking about like Dustin Hoffman, and I was like, he reminds me of Dustin Hoffman, like graduate Dustin Hoffman of so talented, like one of the best of his generation. Here we are talking about it. But also like you wouldn't say he was hot, like sex pot, like fucking Jason Momoa, like take me, you know, like kind of that kind of thing. Adam Driver's like in a different wavelength. But I see people like online that are like, oh my gosh, they have such a crush on him. And I get that. But it has something to do with him being a movie star. You know, like if Adam Driver if Adam Driver was your plumber, you would pretty much. He's tall. He's got to be like 6'1" or something. I understand, but if he's your plumber, he comes and goes. But if Jason Momoa is your barista, you're not going to be able to shake that guy, right? So it's just like the movies. There's some people, movie stars, that no matter what they did, they are always going to be stunning. They're going to be stunning, but Adam Driver's like, he has a movie star aura that like amplifies his already hasness. And I feel like old Meryl Streep, which is young Meryl Streep, had that too. You know, like The Office, the show had this thing is like, is Hilary Swank hot? Yeah, they had that. I forgot who they compared her to. But like, is Hilary Swank hot? Yeah. And I was just like, that's an interesting observation. And also, I would throw like Jodie Foster in there. I like Jodie Foster. Is she hot? Not every movie star like has to be. Kathy Bates is hot. I love you so much. Thank you for doing this podcast. I love you. We'll do another one. Thanks for putting up with my bullshit.